Good morning, Netroots. Oh, good morning. Are y'all up yet? So my name is Summer Lee, and I am one of the few black women serving in the state house for Pennsylvania. So this is, thanks. So I just finished my first quarter of a session, and I guess I kind of came in with a little bit of a bang because aside from being one of the few black women, I'm actually the only and the first black woman ever to be elected from Western Pennsylvania. So, and I was really torn. So when I was asked to come here and speak, they told me to tell my story. And that's a hard thing to do. Because when we think about black women, women of color trying to burst onto the scene, to the political scene, there are a lot of impediments for us. And I think that it's appropriate to be here at Netroots because we're a progressive, we're a progressive collective. But we have problems within our progressive collective that we have to address if we're really going to be about moving women of color and people of color in. So when I came onto the scene about 2 years ago, I didn't even realize I was political. I looked up one day and I realized that I had to run for office. And I didn't think that was going to be me because I'm a protester, I'm an activist, I'm an organizer. But the thing that I realized is that I was tired of fighting the power. I was ready to take some power. So I had just come off of the Fight for 15 where I was telling young black kids that they're worth $15 an hour. They were homeless. I had just come out of the neighborhood. I live in a neighborhood where we have some of the worst air quality in the country. Black kids get asthma at 8 times the rate of the national rate right now. 15 kids had died in my school district in the last 4 years. 15 kids. The kids in my neighborhood know more death than soldiers. And when I first started running, the media would ask me, "Are you running because of Donald Trump?" I said, "Who?" Donald Trump. No, I'm running because of cyclical racism. I'm running because of generational poverty. I'm running because nobody's going to prioritize my community. I had waited and waited and waited for somebody who looked like me to come and say that, Summer, you can have power in your community, that your community can transform itself, that we don't have to wait for somebody who has a suit on, for somebody who looks like a Kennedy to come and save us. Nobody wanted to tell us that we could save us. So when I first started to run, the thing that I really wanted to hear and the thing that I get sick of hearing, and maybe this is a little bit controversial because I'm a representative, I'm tired of people telling people of color, poor people of color, young people of color, that you need to vote. I know this is weird. I'm tired of people telling us that we just need to vote. Because we know that just voting, if it is not an electoral strategy that's going to lead to power, why are we voting if we're not going to ever get any power? We hear so frequently in communities like mine, we hear that our ancestors died for us to have the right to vote, but yet we've been voting and voting and voting, and our communities haven't come any closer to power, haven't come any closer to luxury. We haven't come any closer to breaking oppression. So I want us to get real serious about that. I ran as a Democrat, and in my time that I've been in office so far, I've taken more flack from them. I'm going to be serious this morning. I'm going to be honest this morning. Because that's all I know how to do. In my time since running, I ran against a 20-year incumbent whose entire family was in politics. Nobody thought that a young, poor woman, socialist, could win office. And not only that, the conventional wisdom is that I couldn't win in that district because that district was 75% white, but we ran anyways. And when we ran, what we knew is that the Democratic Party says that it's a big tent, but that tent seems to get smaller when black, bold, loud, proud, progressive women show up. So when we ran, we decided that we were going to build our own tent because we knew that that was the only way that we were going to finally be able to prioritize our issues. So we built a coalition from the ground up. We centered all of the people and all of the issues that we knew were dear and near to our hearts. And we were able to galvanize thousands and thousands of people who had never seen themselves run for office. Because before I had even run, I had never seen myself for office. So when people asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I never thought that this was even on the horizon. This wasn't even something that I can conceptualize. There are so many black girls and boys and women of color who are bold and progressive and loud, who are just waiting to know that this space is for us too, because that's the next problem. So I don't want to just talk about the Democratic Party, but I want to talk about the progressive movement, because sometimes people don't think that the progressive movement is for us. Sometimes the progressive movement doesn't make it known that it is also for us, because there are so many black folks and people of color who feel like we're being left behind by this movement. I want to say that I might not be your white progressive, but I'm the progressive that you need. Because for me, running for office wasn't about toppling Trump. It was about toppling the system that created Trump. If we are going to transform our country, because I only got 40 seconds, y'all, if we're going to transform our country, we have to move away from focusing only on Trump and move into focusing on the people and who are oppressed by the system that created Trump. If you look across this room, around this room, there are organizers and activists and movement leaders, and each one of us needs to start seeing ourselves as our own representation. Because until we do that, we're not going to be able to do the transformative work that we need to do. In Pennsylvania, we are not done yet. I'm happy that you're here. In Pennsylvania, we're not done yet. We need you to leave here and find somebody. Find somebody who you can lift up, who you can pour into. Because elections aren't won on Facebook posts and tweets. When you leave out of here, if you really are about progressive people of color, then find them and donate to them, support them, move them, build them up. And then let's start really crafting the society and the government that we are looking to make, led by women who are bold and progressive and of color. Thank you.